You know, we have to train ourselves. They said if you want to, they've done studies, if you want to lose weight, and you're overweight, hang around somebody that's in shape. If you're not smart, hang around a smart person. So if you want to be moral, hang around a person that's moral. If you want to be an activist, hang around activists. Why? Because there's a lifestyle that's associated with that. There's a language that's associated with that. And the more you're around these types of people, it rubs off. You get some of that. So whatever work you're trying to do, if I'm trying to be an NBA basketball player and you're trying to be a botanist, I'm not saying we can't coexist, we can't have dialogue. But if you're hanging with me, I'm spending so much time on the court, you're not going to be great as a botanist. You're going to miss out, right? If I spend so much time with you, I'm not saying we can't coexist, we can't have dialogue, we can't learn from each other. But if I'm trying to be great in basketball, I got to get with people that's training like me. If I want to be an activist, I got to associate with activists. If I want to know about something, I got to go to those who know. And I got to sit with them. I got to learn from them. I got to struggle with the information. And so that's something I think when we're talking about doing whatever work we're trying to do, we have to associate ourselves with people that are in that line of work. And we gain strength from that. We gain courage from that. We gain confidence from that.
Hello, everyone. I am Matt DeSantis. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Teen Think Tank Project. That voice you just heard is a social justice advocate, activist, former NBA star, and friend of the Teen Think Tank Project, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. His message is simple. If you want change, you have to hang around with those who are working to make change. And for 36 hours over the past 3 weeks, I've been hanging around with 9 exceptional teen change agents who are dedicated to exploring and solving the social issues that they see, experience, and are troubled by. Over the next 90 minutes, these teen leaders will walk you through a series of conversations that highlight their journey to becoming a change agents, to address the impediments that are preventing Americans from obtaining mental health equity. So without further ado, I turn it over to that team. Lazia, take it away.
Thanks, Matt. So if you haven't seen the agenda before, I'll be presenting it. So we just had an introduction by Matt, and next we'll have a welcome by me and Ahana. And then we have our research associate intros by Emma. And then we have our research overview by Sahana and Aisha. And then we have our policy framework presentation by our entire cohort. And then we have our recognition for guest speakers by Bhavya. And then our question and answer session. And then we'll have our awards and our updates and thank you and closing remarks. Thank you. So now I'll give it over to Ahana.
Hello everyone, I'm Ishana, also known as Hannah. First of all, I would like to thank all of you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here today. On behalf of myself and every research associates, I would like to express how excited and honored we are to have you here. Over the past 3 weeks, my peers and I been dedicated our heart, minds, into preparing for this day. We have prepared our final research question as, what are the economic, social, and legal impediments preventing mental health equity for all, and how do we overcome those obstacles? Moreover, we have divided our work into 3 amazing groups, economic, social, and legal, and here are the names of the people who are in it. And each of the group were focused on innovative solutions to addressing America's mental health crisis. We are truly excited to share our findings and insights with you. Once again, thank you for being here. Now I'll hand it over to Emma, who will introduce us a little further.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here. I'd just like to share a short video introducing all of the change agents that I put together.
My name is Hannah. I go by she and their pronouns, and I attend William Cullen Bryant High School, and I'm currently a rising junior. And I enrolled to this program because I felt there was a lack of accessibility in mental health, and I just wanted to do some research on it and just like get experience.
Hello, my name is Sahana Rajesh Kumar. I'm a sophomore from Robbinsville, New Jersey, where I attend Robbinsville High School. I joined this program because I believe that everyone, regardless of age, has the power to make a difference, and even as high school students, we can contribute to meaningful change.
Hi, my name is Gabe Naranjo. I am a student at Somerset County Vocational Technical High School, and I enrolled in this program because it's a very personal topic for me. I struggle with mental health disorders, and I want to make sure that the next group of people that reach out for help get the proper accessibility that they deserve.
Hi, my name is Jaden. I'm from California, and I enrolled in this program because medicine, specifically mental health, is really interesting for me. And I'm part of this economic impediments group because math and economics is one of my favorite subjects to learn.
Hello, my name is Ayşe. I'm from Turkey, and I enrolled in the Teen Think Tank project because I'm passionate about the health field, particularly mental health, and I also saw this as a great chance to dive into research.
Hi, my name is Emma. I'm from New Jersey, and I attend high school at the Academy of Allied Health and Science. And I enrolled in this program because I wanted an opportunity to speak about a subject that I'm passionate about, and just an overall research experience included with this. I was interested in the social aspect of this issue because mental health is something that needs to be talked about more, and mental health equity is something that we should all aim to achieve.
Hi, I'm Ava. I go to Foxcroft School, which is a private boarding school in Loudoun County, Virginia, and I enrolled in this program to strengthen my research skills for a project that I'm really passionate about.
Hey, my name is Lasya, and I live in Somerset, New Jersey. I enrolled in this program because I think mental health is very important and it isn't talked about in much. I'm also interested in medicine and learning about research.
Hello, my name is Bobby Aurora. I am from Frisco, Texas, and I go to Leadership Preparatory School. I was interested in this program because I've always wanted to go into the medical field, and mental health is right down that alley. I was also looking for a research opportunity, and this was just perfect.
Thank you for watching. That is our team, and now I'd like to hand it over to Sahana.
Oh, thank you, Emma. That was an amazing video. Share my screen. Okay. Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Sahana, and I'm from New Jersey.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Ayşe, and I'm from Turkey. It's a pleasure to see you all here today.
We're excited to share the work we've been doing as a part of the Teen Think Tank project. Our cohort has been focused on something that affects millions of lives, but often goes unnoticed: mental health inequities in America. Mental health is an issue that touches all of us, whether directly or indirectly. Yet the reality is that not everyone has equal access to the care they need. We wanted to understand why this is happening, why in a country as advanced as ours, so many people are falling through the cracks. This project has been our way of exploring those questions and finding actionable solutions.
We started by diving into the heart of the issue, exploring the economic, social, and legal barriers that kept mental health care out of reach for so many. Through guided discussions, readings, videos, and deep conversations with guest speakers, we uncovered the harsh realities behind the statistics. But it wasn't just about the data for us, it was about the people behind those numbers. One of the most powerful moments for me was hearing the story of a young man who battled depression for years. But couldn't get the help he needed because his insurance didn't cover mental health services. His story isn't unique. There are countless others like him, and people who are struggling in silence because they're denied the care they deserve. These stories are what fueled our work.
And that's why we're here today, to share not just our findings, but our motivation. We just didn't want to analyze the problem. We wanted to be part of the solution. We worked to create a policy framework that addresses the root causes of mental health inequities, aiming to create a practical guide for those who want to advocate for sustainable mental health reform.
Our goal was to create something that could be used by policymakers, advocates, and anyone who is passionate about making mental health care accessible to all. We wanted to ensure that our framework wasn't just theoretical, but actionable, something that could make a real difference in people's lives.
And as we present our findings today, we hope to not only inform, but to inspire. This work isn't just about us, it's about all of us and the change that we can create together. We believe that addressing these inequities head on, we can help build a future where mental health care is a right, not a privilege.
Thank you for being here with us and for your commitment to this cause. Together, we can make sure that no one is denied the care they need. Let's work together to fix America's mental health crisis, because everyone deserves the chance to live a healthy, fulfilling life.
Thank you. And now,
yeah. Hello everyone again, and now I will be giving a brief introduction to our presentation on our work on mental health equity in the United States. The United States of America is encountering a significant challenge of achieving mental health equity. Numerous Americans suffer from serious mental illnesses, yet most of them are not able to access the necessary care they need due to several impediments. If mental health care was more accessible in the United States, many Americans' lives will be less affected by mental disorders, and it would have a positive impact in the United States. This is why the mental health crisis is a crucial issue in the United States that has to be fixed to improve people's lives and make the country a better place overall. In our presentation, we will identify the limitations in the equity of America's mental health service system and propose possible solutions by focusing on those limitations. For the economic impediments, we will discuss the geographical impact on mental health, while we will focus on the impact of stigma, incarceration, and childhood trauma as the social impediments on mental health equity. Moreover, we will delve into the legal impediments, such as the Americans with Disabilities Act's impact on employment discrimination, the deterrence of mental health services at schools, and the failure of current state laws and policies on mental health equity in the United States. By highlighting these barriers that prevent accomplishing mental health equity for all Americans, we aim to find solutions that can be put into application in the country. Thank you for listening to me, and let's get started by hearing Eva's work on the economic impediments of mental health equity.
Thank you, Aisha. For my segment of the economic group, I focused on the effects of economic recessions on mental health care. Mental health is defined as a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. And the World Health Organization describes mental health as a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learn well, and work well, and contribute to their community. By understanding what mental health is, we can understand how the financial uncertainty of economic downturn can have a negative impact on a person's mental health. What is an economic recession? An economic recession is defined as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy lasting for more than a few months, normally visible in production, employment, real income, and other indicators. Recessions happen in economic cycles and vary in duration. The United States has experienced several recessionary periods in its history. For the purpose of my research, I will focus on the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009 and the economic downturn caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Great Recession. Individuals seeking professional help for depression and stress went from 9% to 14% between 2010 and 2013, and increased odds of depression, panic, generalized anxiety, and problematic substance use after the recession concluded. So, let's begin by examining the Great Recession. The cause of the Great Recession is often connected to the housing market crash. This means people weren't only impacted by job loss and financial uncertainty, but also the mass loss of housing. As a result of this economic instability, there was a marked rise in individuals seeking professional help for depression and stress. Studies show that the rise in negative mental health impacts continued several years after the recession ended, thus resulting in the statistics I just listed. The COVID-19 pandemic. The focus on COVID-19 took resources away from mental health pharmaceutical research, and many psychiatric facilities were converted to manage COVID. By removing these resources from mental health care during a time of economic stress, there was a sense of imprisonment, reminding of traumatic experiences, intolerance to inactivity, and a rise of boredom and depression, and most people only had access to very limited care. Statistics. About 9 out of 10 adults in the US believe that the country is experiencing a mental health crisis. 1 out of 6 children between ages of 2 and 8 has a diagnosed mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder. Suicide is now ranked as the 12th leading cause of death in the US overall and the second leading cause of death for children between ages of 15 and 19. And in 2020 specifically, there were 45,979 deaths attributed to suicide, 1 death every 11 minutes. Access to care. Money is often taken away from these services during recessions, and it leads to an increase in self-harm and suicide nationwide. Access to care was difficult, and it was considered very substandard. This resulted in the rise of suicide rates during the times of recession, and it has been found that suicide rates decline in times of economic expansion. Solutions. There are some initiatives that have actually worked. Health insurance coverage with programs like Medicaid have made it easier for people to access mental health services. However, these solutions are not always equitable. MMHCs, or mobile mental health clinics, can make adequate mental health care more accessible to areas that have less resources and struggle financially, creating more mental health equity that can be sustained over economic hardships. Thank you for your time, and now I'll turn it over to Jaden.
Hi, my name is Jaden Makadia, and I am part of the Economic Impediments Group, and I'll be talking about the geographical impact on mental health care. So, what are mental health care deserts? Well, mental health care deserts, which are most prevalent in rural communities, are classified as a region where access to in-person treatment centers and services is limited due to the 3 main factors: lack of providers, high cost of services, and sociocultural factors. Unfortunately, mental health care deserts are getting even worse. As more and more providers leave their jobs, patients have to travel further to get the care they need, leading to more expenses for gas and vehicles on top of their already expensive medical bills. There is a massive lack for qualified providers in rural areas. This is mainly because many providers don't want to live in rural environments and would rather prefer to dwell in larger cities or towns, leading to longer wait times and insufficient care. At-risk populations. The main populations affected by mental health care deserts are homeless patients, low-income individuals, rural citizens, and marginalized communities. Homeless patients typically struggle from illnesses such as PTSD, anxiety, or depression. To make matters even worse, they can't get the care they need because they don't have the necessary funding, transportation, or housing. This can hinder their ability to get a job or stable housing. Low-income individuals are another example of people affected by mental health care deserts. The majority of them are in the agricultural sector, and some of them struggle with transportation and funding, which can prevent them from getting care, housing, or jobs. Plus, America relies heavily on the agricultural industry, and if many farmers have mental illnesses, then America will have to raise its prices on agricultural products. As you can see here, this is a graph of the percentage of homeless citizens struggling with a mental illness. Over 66%. This shows how little they are getting cared for. Solutions. What can we do to help the mental health crisis in America? There's a lot that is being done to support this crisis already, such as telehealth, which is a game changer as it is cheap and remote. There's also school-based mental health services, community-based mental health services, and increased funding. You can help too by posting on social media, supporting local nonprofit organizations, and local efforts to combat this cause. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for that, Jaden. I'm going to be sharing now. Hi, I'm Emma. I'm 15 years old and I'm a rising sophomore from New Jersey. My role as part of this research cohort was to focus on the social impediments preventing mental health care equity. specifically the stigma surrounding it. As a society, we do not prioritize mental health nearly enough when it comes to providing healthcare. Mental health belongs in the discussion of healthcare and healthcare equity. 20% of Americans suffer mental health issues in a given year. That's 1 in 5 people, which is an alarming and significant portion of the population. The reason why these numbers are so high and continue to stay this way is due to stigma. There are 3 different types of stigma that all contribute to the mental health crisis in America, and they all play into each other. There's public stigma, which is how people in a community view or treat mental health, which then paves the way to systemic stigma by placing legislation and policies to reduce access to mental health care, ultimately creating self-stigma, where because of these factors, an individual has internalized shame associated with mental health issues. Public stigma is the overarching issue surrounding mental health that refers to the negative attitudes, beliefs, and stereotypes that society holds about individuals with mental health conditions. When people don't have accurate information about mental illness, they are more likely to rely on stereotypes or misconceptions. For instance, they might believe that mental illnesses are a sign of personal weakness, or that people with mental health conditions are dangerous or unpredictable. Public stigma creates a negative lens on people who have serious mental health issues, and when a large majority of the population deems a negative outlook on mental health, it not only prevents access to mental health care, but also creates even more problems in many other ways. Like previously mentioned, public stigma can dictate many things in the area of mental health care. So when society decides to have a negative view of mental health, they will also place policies and legislations that coincide with these negative opinions and stigma. It is this public stigma that leads to systemic stigma, which makes it harder for individuals with mental health issues to access care due to law and legal policies. Certain laws may lack protections against discrimination for people with mental health conditions, failing to address the systemic barriers they face. For example, laws regarding involuntary commitment can make it difficult for individuals with severe mental health issues to receive care unless they meet specific criteria. This delay of treatment can allow a condition to grow worse and even prevent care from being provided at all. This creates a major issue because people are suffering but can't get adequate and timely care due to policies and legislations. Then there is internal stigma. The experience of stigma can lead to feelings of shame, guilt, and low self-esteem. When people internalize these negative attitudes and stereotypes associated with mental illness, it can worsen their emotional distress and contribute to a sense of worthlessness or self-blame. Another way internalized stigma can negatively impact those suffering is fear. Fear of seeking help. Fear of being judged or discriminated against can prevent individuals from seeking necessary mental health support. This reluctance can delay treatment and lead to deterioration of their condition as they avoid professional help or therapy that could provide relief. As a society, it's our job to find solutions to solve the mental health crisis in America. Addressing public stigma surrounding mental health is crucial for improving the way mental health is viewed and in return the treatment and support for individuals with mental health conditions. There are many ways to combat the public stigma surrounding mental health, and it starts with promoting accurate information. The public should be educated about mental health conditions, their causes, and treatments in order to dispel myths and misconceptions. This accurate information can reduce fear and misunderstanding. Ways for society to become literate in mental health is to integrate mental health education into school criteria and the workplace. This way, society can foster understanding from a young age and in professional settings. Ways to improve systemic stigma differ slightly from the previous way in going about public stigma. To make real changes, people need to advocate for anti-stigma legislation and support policies and legislations that promote mental health awareness and anti-discrimination measures in employment, education, and housing. And finally, the hardest task at hand is challenging internal stigma because it is a complicated matter where an individual's mindset needs to be challenged. While it's impossible to completely reconstruct someone's mind, cognitive restructuring when it comes to mental health is very possible and important. Individuals struggling with mental health should work on identifying and challenging negative beliefs about themselves, and these cognitive behavioral techniques can help reframe their beliefs and develop a more balanced self-view. Another important step in reducing internalized stigma is having self-compassion and practicing affirmations. When individuals partake in self-compassion and use positive affirmations to counteract negative self-talk, it helps eliminate the negative view of mental illness and support understanding and kindness. While these different stigmas exist in the realm of mental health, it's important for society to combat this social justice issue because it affects so many people. All these individuals have their own lives and aspirations and deserve access to help and treatment for their mental health conditions. Stigma and misconception should not be the reason we cannot achieve mental health equity. So it is us to bring awareness and acceptance for all. Thank you for listening. I'm going to pass it over to Lasia now.
Thanks, Emma. That was an amazing presentation. My name is Lasia, and I will be presenting a very important topic, the impact of incarceration on mental health. For many, the prison system is not just a place of punishment, but also a reflection of our society's failures in mental health care. Many individuals with severe mental illnesses end up in prison where conditions can often worsen their state. Imagine a bleak, cramped cell, the constant clang of metal doors, and the loud voices of aggression. This harsh reality can deeply impact one's mental health, leading to feelings of isolation, despair, and hopelessness. Today, I'll explore how incarceration can devastate mental health and what we can do to combat that. A staggering number of incarcerated individuals report experiencing mental health concerns. 64% in jails, 54% in state prisons, and 45% in federal prisons report mental health concerns. This high prevalence highlights a systematic issue. The lack of adequate mental health resources often leaves those in need with two options: community-based centers, which are often inadequate, and prison. Unfortunately, many end up in the criminal justice system due to the lack of treatment programs or alternatives. For many, incarceration becomes a default response to the mental health crises, with police officers arresting individuals because there's simply no other choice. The effects of prison on individuals with mental health issues are profound. Incarceration often disconnects individuals from families and society, leading to feelings of isolation and loss of purpose. Many inmates experience constant violence, both physical, sexual, and physiological. The crowded and often inhumane conditions further exacerbate these issues. The lack of privacy, the harsh physical environment, and the limited access to mental stimulation all contribute to a decline in mental health. These conditions can be especially harsh for those who are already struggling with mental illnesses. Inmates face a variety of mental health challenges. Many experience increased rates of depression, anxiety, and PTSD. These harsh conditions and lack of support can lead to higher risks of suicide and self-harm. Additionally, the loss of personal identity and self-worth can be devastating. The prison environment strips away an individual's sense of purpose and dignity, making it difficult for them to reintegrate back into society. These issues highlight the urgent need for mental health support within the prison system. Addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach. First, we need to reintegrate inmates with their families and societies. Programs for family visits, phone calls, video conferencing, and reintegration support are very important. Reintegration programs should provide job training, education, and mental health support to help inmates rebuild their lives. Reducing violence in prisons is also crucial. Improved supervision, crisis management training, and better rehabilitation programs are crucial. This can be achieved through better supervision and comprehensive rehabilitation programs. Lastly, we must address overcrowding and improve prison conditions, sentencing reform, alternatives to imprisonment, and better facilities. Programs like the ESC network and CRAN are crucial in assessing and supporting inmates with mental health needs. These programs not only help inmates reconnect with their families and society, but also provide personalized treatment plans and the necessary community services. In conclusion, the intersection of mental health and incarceration reveals a critical need for systematic reform. The current prison environment exacerbates mental health issues, leading to overcrowding, alienation, and violence. However, with the right measures, we can create a more supportive and rehabilitative system. Together, these measures can transform the prison experience, prioritizing mental health and rehabilitation for the betterment of individuals and society as a whole. Thank you all for listening to me today, and I would like to hand over it to Gabe.
Thank you so much, Lazia. I am going to now now present my topic on childhood trauma and how it affects a child's chemistry. Effects of adverse childhood experiences on childhood development, where every twist and turn shapes the future. The shadows of early experiences can cast very long and profound effects on growth. These shadows are called adverse childhood experiences, which are known by the common people like us as childhood trauma. The acronym is ACEs. They are early life stressors that disrupt normal development, ranging from severe, for example, surviving a war zone, to minor, like economic hardships or parental separation, i.e., divorce. Approximately 60% of US adults experience at least one ACE before age 18, which can lead to mental health issues if they're not addressed early. One of the ACEs is childhood neglect, a prevalent form of abuse that leads to a significant developmental disruption and can manifest as behavioral issues, mood disorders, and substance abuse if not resolved early. It is categorized in the same box as abuse, therefore, it is a form of abuse, basically meaning that there is no psychological difference in the effects that it has if you were to get physically abused. The next is physical abuse, i.e., domestic violence. Physical abuse during childhood can alter a child's brain chemistry. It makes it shortcut, resulting in cognitive delays, sensory impairments, and severe emotional issues with lasting effects on mental health. Conditions like bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression are more prevalent among survivors of domestic violence compared to those who haven't experienced such trauma. It's about a 20% difference. And of those, 50% of the people that result very seriously ill from it do not reach out for help due to stigma. Causes of severe mental illnesses, there's always been a debate between nature versus nurture. So how your genetic gene pool is formed when you grow up versus how you are raised. Severe mental illnesses can arise from a combination of genetic predisposition and adverse childhood experiences, with interactions between genetic factors and environmental triggers playing a critical role in the development or lack of development of severe mental illnesses in a child. There is also socioeconomic status that impacts somebody's mental health. They influence mental health outcomes, with lower income households experiencing higher risk of adverse mental health due to cumulative stress and limited access to resources. There is also the fact that high poverty areas and communities of color often face worse mental health outcomes due to limited resources and, again, cumulative stress, exacerbating the impact of any ACE that they might experience in the childhood. Solutions to this are interventions and programs which are ongoing. Effective treatment for ACEs and related mental health issues include therapy, support programs, and intensive programs. Long-term rehabilitative programs such as California's mental health courts empathize continuous care and support throughout a 10 to 15-year period. However, they are mandated, and most people do not feel like they are given the choice for their own treatment. There's also a need for comprehensive approaches on addressing ACEs effectively requires early identification, trauma-informed care, integration of mental health services into primary care and education, and multidisciplinary collaboration to support resilience and recovery. What does this mean? It means that government departments need to work together to prevent and to treat early ACEs so that they do not exacerbate into severe mental illnesses. And that is it. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'm going to hand over to Hannah, who is doing the legal impediment. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and thank you once again for being here today. My presentation is focused on addressing mental health issues in United States schools. While I was exploring the topic mental health, I reflected on my own experiences seeking help from my school and recognized a significant mental health crisis in accessing these services inside schools. Many barriers to this issue are rooted in legal challenges. This realization led me to focus on the legal aspects and investigate the underlying reasons behind these obstacles. Before diving into the reasons, let's first explore the context. Mental health disorder. Service gap. Less than half of the students receive the necessary mental health services. Critical role of schools. With 128,961 public and private K-12 schools in the United States, 76 million youths in attendance, schools are a crucial setting for addressing mental health issues. Moreover, most individuals experiencing mental health challenges report that their symptoms begin before the age 15. Thus, school where students spend a significant portion of their time are uniquely positioned to address these issues. Many students even spend more time at school than home. Because of participation in activities like volunteering, clubs, and societies. This makes schools a critical environment for early intervention and support. So what's the problem in school-based mental health? Insufficient funding and legal and confidentiality issues. Insufficient funding, rural versus urban schools. Disparities in fundings and resources between rural and urban schools. Legal and confidentiality issues. Inconsistencies in state laws regarding minor consent to mental health services, and challenges in maintaining student confidentiality while providing necessary mental health support. Why is it a problem? Untreated mental health issues can lead to poor academic performance, increased risks of social disassociation, and risks of higher likelihood of substance abuse and worst-case suicide. Funding. Insufficient grants, competing priorities, competitive applications, rural disparities, budget constraints. Federal and state government provide grants to support mental health programs in schools, but these funds are often insufficient. This program aims to improve mental health services, but face limitation due to high demand and the need to address multiple priorities. Additionally, budget cuts further hinder the effectiveness of these programs. This funding shortfall disproportionately affects rural schools, where resources are already limited. Approximately 1/5 of Americans live in rural areas, where mental health resources are already limited. Rural schools face significant challenges, including fewer mental health professionals and limited access to services. Studies show that students in rural areas have poorer mental health outcomes compared to their urban counterparts. Additionally, both urban and rural school students often lack adequate mental health education. Varying state law, federal standards, state variability, access barriers. Federal laws provide a baseline for confidentiality protection, but state laws regarding minor consent to mental health services vary widely. In some states, minors can consent to certain types of care, while in others, parents' involvement is required for every kind of service, even counseling. For example, California allows minors aged 12 and older to consent to outpatient mental health services, where Texas generally requires parental consent. These inconsistencies create confusion and barriers for students seeking help. A more uniform legal framework could improve access to mental health services across the country. Confidentiality. Hesitation to seek help, parental updates, influence on willingness, family-related challenges. Students or teens often hesitate to seek help due to the concern about confidentiality and fear of informing parents. Regular updates to parents about therapy sessions can deter teens from seeking support. The perception of confidentiality plays a crucial role in their willingness to reach out for help. Family-related issues and personal issues, for instance, an LGBTQI identifying students who hasn't come out to their parents, possibly due to strict or homophobic views, may avoid seeking help if they fear the school will disclose their personal and sensitive information, especially If their mental health concerns are related to their identity, school has to inform the parents about this. This could make the situation simply worse for the student. So how do we solve this problem? Allocate more funds and confidentiality protection. To address the growing demand for mental health support among students, it is crucial to allocate more funds specially dedicated to direct improvement of mental health services in schools. Increased fundings would allow schools to hire more mental health professionals, such as psychologists and social workers who are trained to address a wide range of mental health issues. These professionals can provide individual and group counseling, crisis intervention, and preventative programs to promote mental health well-being. Federal and state government should prioritize mental health funding and education budgets to ensure that all schools, regardless of location or demographics, have adequate resources. How do I go back? Confidentiality protection. Strengthening confidential protection is essential to ensure students feel safe seeking help. This includes aligning state to minimize variability and confusion around minors' consent for mental health services. By creating a more consistent and protective legal framework, students can access the care they need without the fear of unnecessary breaches of privacy. Establishing uniform national standards for minor consent and confidentiality in mental health services would reduce barriers to care and simplify the legal framework for mental health professionals and educators. This would lead to earlier intervention and better mental health outcomes. In conclusion, the current landscape of mental health support in schools reveals a complex interplay of funding inadequacies, rural-urban disparities, and complex state laws. Despite federal and state grants aimed at improving mental health services, this program falls short of addressing the comprehensive need for all students in all schools. Rural schools are particularly disadvantaged, receiving less funding and lacking adequate mental health education. Moreover, the variability in state laws regarding minor consent and confidentiality further complicates students' access to mental health services, creating significant barriers. Addressing these issues requires a more unified and equitable approach, ensuring that all students, regardless of their location or state laws, have access to mental health care they need. This calls for increased funding, standardized law, and enhanced mental health confidentiality to create a supportive environment where all students can thrive. Thank you everyone for listening. Now I'll pass it to Sahana. Please welcome her.
Thanks for sharing, Hana. Hello again, everyone. My name is Sahana Rajesh Kumar, and today I'll be discussing my teen think tank project on the legal impediments faced by individuals with mental health conditions, particularly in the workplace, and how the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, addresses or sometimes fails to address these challenges. Mental health is a crucial aspect of our overall well-being, yet it often faces significant challenges, especially in the workplace. Many talented and capable individuals with mental health conditions encounter barriers such as stigma, prejudice, and even outright discrimination. It's concerning that more than half of those experiencing mental health issues choose not to seek treatment, largely due to fears of being judged or mistreated at work. This is where the ADA, or Americans with Disabilities Act, is supposed to step in, offering protections to prevent such discrimination and ensure that everyone has a fair shot, regardless of their mental health status. But this raises an important question. How effective are the protections in practice? Are they truly helping those who need them, or is there more that needs to be done? The ADA, enacted on July 26, 1990, was a groundbreaking piece of legislation aimed at preventing discrimination against individuals with disabilities, including those with mental health conditions. The Act defines disability broadly, covering a range of conditions like major depressive disorder, PTSD, and bipolar disorder. The ADA's goals are to ensure equal opportunities, full participation in society, and support for independent living. And while the ADA was a significant step forward, its practical application, especially concerning mental health, has proven to be complex and in some cases inadequate. One of the key provisions of the ADA is the requirement of reasonable accommodations in the workplace. However, the employment statistics for individuals with psychiatric disabilities reveal that only 38.1% are employed full-time, compared to 61.7% of those without such conditions. This gap suggests that many workplaces are need to adequately support these individuals, whether due to a lack of understanding, resources, or willingness. The fear of discrimination often prevents people from disclosing their conditions and seeking the accommodations they are legally entitled to, highlighting a significant shortfall in the ADA's impact. Stigma remains a major barrier. Many people are hesitant to disclose their mental health condition to employers due to fears of being judged, marginalized, or even fired. Unfortunately, these fears are often justified. People who have disclosed their conditions frequently report experiences of discrimination, gossip, and social exclusion. The stigma not only prevents people from seeking necessary accommodation, but also perpetuates a culture of silence and suffering. And for the ADA to be truly effective, this cultural stigma must be addressed alongside the legal protections. Enforcing the ADA prevents another significant challenge. The burden of proof is often on the individual to demonstrate that their condition substantially limits one or more major life activities, a requirement that can be both vague and difficult to meet. Additionally, many employers and employees lack awareness of their rights and obligations under the ADA, leading to situations where protections are either not utilized or outright ignored. Limited resources for enforcement and legal action further complicate the situation, making it difficult for many to access the protections they deserve. Despite these challenges, there have been notable successes, largely due to increased employer education and legal accountability. For example, in the EEOC versus True Blue case, the employer was held accountable for not adhering to ADA requirements. However, such successes are not widespread enough. Many employers still lack the understanding needed to support employees with mental health conditions effectively. This knowledge gap is a significant barrier to full ADA compliance and can only be closed through comprehensive training and education. To tackle these challenges, we can implement several solutions. First, creating a specialized mental health unit within the EEOC would ensure that ADA violations related to mental health are handled by experts, leading to more effective enforcement. Second, implementing annual ADA and mental health training for employers would help them understand the specific needs of employees with mental health conditions and foster a more supportive work environment. Additionally, standardizing the process for requesting accommodations would make it easier for employees to access the support they need. And promoting comprehensive mental health wellness programs and launching a nationwide public awareness campaign would reduce stigma and create a more inclusive work environment both in the workplace and in society at large. In conclusion, while the ADA provides a strong legal framework designed to protect individuals with mental health conditions, significant challenges remain. Stigma, reluctance to disclose conditions, and enforcement issues all hinder its effectiveness. And by enhancing enforcement mechanisms, improving employer education, streamlining accommodation processes, and raising public awareness, we can help ensure that the ADA fulfills its promise of equal opportunity for all. It's a collective responsibility to create workplaces where mental health is supported, understood, and respected. Thank you. Now I'll be handing it over to Bhavya.
Thank you, Sahana, for that information. My name is Bhavya Aurora. I am a sophomore who goes to Leadership Preparatory School in Frisco, Texas. How are current laws and policies failing to create substantive mental health reform on a large scale? One in five people in the US have some sort of mental health disorder. 1 out of 20 people have been to jail, and 1/4 of state prisoners have a recent history of behavioral health conditions. That is a large number. There are a few problems that cause these statistics. There's a lack of appropriate laws regarding mental health care, and there's also a lack of proper first responder care. Inadequacies of first response care. Most first responders do not have the proper training to treat those with a mental illness. This lack of training poses a problem, as it can lead to misunderstandings and escalate a situation. 25% of those who are shot and killed by police have some sort of mental illness. One incident, called the Yang incident, happened on May 2nd, 2024. Parents called the LAPD for help with their son, Yong Yang. Yong Yang was a man facing a mental health episode who had previously been diagnosed with bipolar for the past 15 years. When police entered his house, they saw him distressed, holding a knife facing the police. He yelled, "You are not invited," referencing that he did not want them in his house. In the body cam footage, the police didn't even try to de-escalate the situation, so they fatally shot him. Now, there are a few solutions to these types of problems. Same-day access is one of them. Virginia is one of the most advanced states in their behavioral health system. For instance, Right Help Right Now is one of them. For Right Help Right Now, Senate Bills 823, 1336, and 601 were signed, which allow for advancement in crisis intervention. This system makes sure that people who are in need of help are able to get help the same day they enter a clinic. Jillian Gmitter, a member of the Adult Behavioral Health Same-Day Access Unit, says that same-day access to behavioral health care lowers the number of mental health crises by 60%. That is a very large number. One other solution is first responder protocols. Virginia's Marcus David Peters Act, also known as the Marcus Alert System, which is named after Marcus David Peters, a Black biology teacher killed in 2018 after facing a mental health crisis, plans to have every area of Virginia implement the Marcus David Peters system by 2028. Now, you may be wondering, what is this system? Well, it was signed in 2018, and pretty much this system works with law enforcement. If law enforcement is called for any mental health crisis reason, the 911 operator will transfer the call to 988, the suicide and behavioral health hotline. The person on the hotline, which is a licensed clinician, will determine if the person needs emergency services. Then law enforcers are asked to take a 40-hour CIT training course. This way, if they are ever called, they know exactly what to do. In conclusion, there are 4 main reasons: implementing comprehensive legislation, adequate first responder training, and implementing same-day access, and be in communication with law enforcement. With these 4 main points, we are able to have a substantive mental health reform. Now, with our full research cohort, we had a lot of people who we needed to thank. Now, I created a video to thank these guest speakers, and I will play it now.
Over the past 3 weeks, we have had a number of guest speakers come and talk to us about their passions, from leadership and communication to legal, social, and economic impediments in the mental health system. So this is our time to thank them and recognize them for helping us during our research cohort.
So first up is Connie Whitman. She's the president and CEO of her consulting firm, Whitman and Associates. Founded in 2001 to serve leaders in organization, her passion lies in teaching people to lead with authentic, caring, honest, and directness. She taught us about different communication skills and styles and how those are possessed by leaders. From something that we took, that to be a good leader, you need good communication skills and empathy.
Next up, we have Tiffany Jones. She was one of the Marcus Alert coordinators and came to our cohort to tell us more about the Marcus Alert. She was also helpful in our introduction to our legal impediment section. We learned a lot about what Virginia is doing for their behavioral health system. She also told us a lot about what the Marcus Alert system does with law enforcement, the 988 hotline, and 911.
Next up is Brad Story. He was an ex-mental healthcare provider. He currently works as an insurance agent. He talked to us about various aspects of mental health, including economic side. We learned that since more mental health providers are leaving, insurance rates for medical services are increasing.
Another person that helped in our legal impediment group is Jillian Gmitter, a licensed professional counselor who has a passion for helping others. She also spoke to us about same-day access and many other policies and acts that help those in a behavioral health crisis.
Chris Gargano is a leadership coach who had a background in sports. He talked to us about the importance of leadership and how those skills are required to be a leader. We learned that being a leader takes hard work and it can be applied to many different scenarios.
Next up is Erica Friedhoff, who is a licensed social worker, who spoke during our introduction to social impediments. She gave us a lot of statistics and spoke a lot about the different types of stigmas, how they affect how people are able to get the right behavioral health care. Last but not least is Tracy Bowenbau, who is a mental health advocate. She spoke to us a lot about her personal experiences with advocacy and told us how we should turn our drive into action now. Everybody mentioned here has helped us in one way or another, and we sincerely thank you and appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and help us.
Thank you for watching that video.
Thank you, team. Fantastic job. I know that you appreciated the experts and thought leaders that came to chat with us, your enthusiasm during those conversations, and the information you took away was evident. But what you may not know, and which is even more important, is that those thought leaders and experts appreciate you. They were motivated by you. They were encouraged by you. They were thrilled to spend part of their day speaking with the next generation of leaders and current teen change agents that are as passionate about the work that they're doing as they are. And that means a lot. That means a lot. It means a lot to them to see folks like you who are committed to doing this work. It means a lot to me because I get to see the growth and maturation of this cohort from the first day till now. And I hope it means a lot to you because you are making impressions on people who are doing the work that you are committed to embracing. It's fantastic to see that connections that you're making. I hope that that's just the first step in your development of your professional networks, because I know every single one of those individuals on that slide would embrace you reaching out to them and looking to keep those connections alive. But we've learned about the subject matter. We've learned about the experts. Let's take some time to learn a little bit about the research associates, because behind every great research project are 9 great research associates. So what I'd like to do is open up our discussion for a little Q&A. If you are a member of our audience, I invite you to add questions to the Q&A function in the webinar. We'll try to get to as many as we can before time runs out. But for the time being, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend and colleague and research assistant for this research cohort, Atia Hack-Russell, who will be facilitating the question and answers. Atia, how are you?
Hey Matt, hi everyone else. I'm doing well, thank you. First and foremost, congratulations everyone for doing a job well done. You guys really presented your work fabulously, and so now I'm going to take a moment to ask you guys some questions collectively. My first question is for the entire group. So whomever wishes to answer. Now, how was it doing this presentation? Like, how do you feel now? Now that you're all done, now that you've done your work, how does it feel to see your final product?
Honestly, I'm gonna answer that because I've been really loving this cohort, and everyone was so dedicated. Everyone was so outstanding, amazing peers, and collaborating with them. And like, I know that I could ask them for help if I needed to, and even Matt, and even you. You guys were so great as a mentor, and I know that I had the space to talk about the things, and mental health. A topic like mental health that isn't very talked about because of stigmas, as I'm pretty sure one of our core mentioned. So it was a great experience, and now that I have done the presentation, I'm feeling really better that people will look into the solutions and like get to know a lot and learn more, and it will help the community. It feels great to be the agent of change, as we say.
Nice. Thank you so much for that response, Hannah. Truly beautifully well said. Before I ask the next question, does anyone else would like to share their thoughts?
Honestly, I feel very proud. I feel relieved of, that we've learned so much over the course of 3 weeks from our amazing guest speakers and of course our mentors. So I don't know, I just feel like it's very relieving to have to put everything together and see the final product.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sahana Cherie. Truly beautifully well said as well, and greatly appreciate it. And you're all most welcome. I've truly enjoyed working with you guys for the short time I've been with you. Okay, so now my first question is directed specifically to Bhavya. Um, how does it feel to be a change agent? Now, I know Hannah spoke a little bit about, the feeling of being a change agent. However, what is your thoughts of now, how do you feel being a change agent with the work you've done?
So I would say it feels pretty good because I know that I'm helping with a good cause. I know that working on this research cohort will ultimately bring awareness to behavioral health cause. So I would say it feels really good.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing that. Truly appreciate it. Okay, so now I have Sahana again. Um, the question I have for you is, can you share a moment when you felt particularly proud of the work that you've done within this cohort for these past week? Like, what was your most proudest moment?
I think it was actually last week. I was in a breakout room with it was like one of each SME. So it was like one legal, one economic, and one social. And I was talking a little bit about what I had learned from the legal aspect. And I don't know, it was just a very inclusive environment for me to be able to talk about something that was so passionate to me at the time. And I don't know, like I felt very like motivated to make change and make like formulate solutions.
Hmm. Nice. Oh, love the energy. Truly appreciate it. Okay, now I have Emma. The question I have for you is, what was your favorite experience as a member of the research cohort? So, what was your most favorite memory thus far, experience that you've encounter thus far within this cohort?
I think probably like my favorite moment or just experience in general was getting to meet everyone and expand my network more and getting to focus on such a serious topic while also meeting new people and learning about their feelings and opinions on the matter.
Nice. Love the response. Thank you so much for sharing that. And also previously for the other respondents, thank you so much for what you've shared. I do have a few more, but I just wanted to say that first and foremost. And networking is greatly important. And so I'm glad that you guys are now, kickstarting that early on in your careers. Um, the next question I have actually is for Aisha. So the question I have for you is, do you think there's hope in that we can successfully provide mental health care for all Americans?
Yeah, I think there is definitely hope, but there's a long journey ahead of us. And attaining mental health equity should be a primary goal for United States because it is as serious as physical illnesses and it should be treated as the same level of importance. So this is why we focused on issues that we found are really important in achieving this equity in the United States. And we believe that applying these solutions to reality, we will keep getting closer to mental health equity in the United States.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So beautifully well said. Another question I actually want to ask as well is because mental health is not just an American issue, it's a global issue as well. So this is actually open to the whole audience, for you guys. Do you guys think that there's hope in us coming to an agreement on how to rectify the global mental health issue that we unfortunately collectively all have challenges with?
I think that's why telemedicine, telehealth solutions exist. There are like a lot of presentations today talked about that. So I feel like that's a very comprehensive way. It's like if you have access to internet, if you have technology, I mean, obviously there's so many possibilities within like telehealth. You can connect with psychiatrists via, I don't know, like Zoom. There's just so much you can do just within telehealth.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Sahana. Truly appreciate it. Okay, now the next question I have is actually again for Bhavya. Also similarly what I asked, but what was your favorite experience as a member in the research cohort?
For me personally, I would say probably listening to our guest speakers. That's why I presented it, because listening to their passions and their job, it was just really interesting because it's something personal to them. It's their unique experience. And just listening to that and learning from that is really unique.
Nice. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate your response. And again, thank you guys as well for responding. Another question I have for the collective group is, so as I previously mentioned in our meetings, whenever you're creating a presentation, you want to ensure that your audience member is able to take one thing away from what you share with them. And so my question for you guys is, what is one thing that you can take that you plan on taking away from this experience, whether it be a memory, whether it be a skill set, whether it be a specific seed of knowledge? Like, what is one thing you plan on taking away and carrying with you, especially as you guys, continue to progress forward in your future endeavors? And so this is just open to anyone who wishes to respond.
Okay, I'll answer this. I'll just say that from a very young age, a lot of people have told me that change is like not possible or like it's way too hard. And I used to think that too, but this cohort even made it more like seem it like possible. And the final thing that I took is from is that change is possible if you really want to make change. And another skills that I took was like teamwork, leadership, and communication because I really love the team a lot. I love every one of my research associate colleagues, like they're the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah. That was a beautiful response. Does anyone else would like to share their thought?
Maybe just like focusing on actual problems than just learning theory. I feel like when we're in school, there's always like if we're doing a project, writing an essay, there's always like predetermined solutions or predetermined outcomes. But I feel like this cohort really made me think that there is like a potential for creativity. You can do your own research. You can have independent thought and, make up your own solutions and explain them in a way that works well for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sahana. Truly appreciate that response as well. Okay. Does anyone else would like to answer that question? Any takers whatsoever before I move on to our second to last question? Okay. So the next question I have for you guys is, let's see, you guys, there's so many great questions overall, but I would like to ask, did your research, and this is also collective for everyone, from what you've learned thus far, from the research that you've done and everything, and the knowledge you've acquired, has your research affected your perception on what you would like to do for your future? Or what career you intended on or intend to pursue? And this is for anyone.
Okay, I'll answer this as well. I think it definitely helped me because I've been like, since high school is the best place to like explore all your options. So I was also exploring, and I definitely love law. But now that I have worked on mental health, I really liked the health science, and I'm now like kind of thinking about maybe like an intersection of health science and law isn't a bad idea. And also, it definitely helped my the way of addressing policy issues and legal issues, and that definitely helped me in my future career as well.
Thank you so much, Hannah. And 100%, it is definitely possible for you to have an intersection of law and mental health in whatever capacity. There are probably programs out there for that. For instance, I'll just slightly say in graduate school, for example, those who are interested in both the research side and medical side, you're able to get a doctorate and a medical doctorate degree, so PhD and MD. So it's very possible, and there's probably also opportunities with that undergrad as well. But that's me just speaking more futuristically. That's a discussion for another time. But is there any other last takers for this question? Has your research inspired you or affected the way in which you wish to pursue your future endeavors? Fabia,
For
would you
me,
like? Oh, I'm
I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
Savannah, you can go.
For me, it was more of choosing what career. Like I obviously haven't fully decided, but I have a better image of what happens behind the scenes now. Like whenever you're choosing a career, there's obviously legal, social, and what like economic impediments behind it. There should be like a driving cause for why you're, choosing the career you want to. Because I always pictured myself as, like sitting behind a desk just helping like patients, but like there's obviously so much that happens behind the scenes, like knowing the family history, like where they come from.
Nice. Thank you so much, Sahana. Any last takers before we officially end this session?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you can go first.
Okay. So I want to pursue a career in medicine and become a psychiatrist. And I also want to contribute to the public and global health sectors. And I hope to assist those who are in need, who lack access to healthcare. And through this cohort, I was able to do individual research and hear from my peers and also gain insight from experts. And this has like intensified my motivations to pursue a career in these fields, and I also feel like I'm already on the path to fulfill my dreams.
Nice, beautifully well said, Aisha. Truly appreciate. And last but not least, Bhavya, you wanted to end us off.
Yeah, so Aisha's answer was actually very similar to mine. So I've always wanted to go into the medical field. And as I said in my introduction, mental health is right down that alley. So I feel like doing this cohort specifically kind of just strengthened me going into the medical field and getting challenged. So I feel like that's the best answer that I can give you.
Awesome. Beautifully well said as well. So thank you so much. And that concludes the Q&A session. I wish for, us to end at a good, reasonable time. So thank you guys who participated. Truly appreciate your response. And for those who did not, it is a-okay. I know that in your spirit, all well answers, that you would have provided. Hopefully that makes sense. But anywho, you guys did an amazing job, and I thank all of you collectively for what you have done and what you have shared. It has been a great pleasure working with you. And I'll leave it off to Matt now.
Atia, thank you very much. Team, nicely done. The Q&A section of the presentation is always my favorite. It gives us an opportunity to get to know these teens who we've worked side by side with for 36 hours over a 3-week period. That's a lot of time together, and to give them the opportunity to showcase their skills and their passion is always one of my favorite parts. The other part that I enjoy is being able to recognize the achievements and accomplishments of the cohort, because I was once a smart kid, and I know that a smart kid loves nothing more than accolades, awards, and recognitions. Now, our program is meant to give intrinsic benefits, loads and loads of intrinsic benefits: growth mindset, intellectual humility, professional development opportunities, things that allow us to grow as people and professionals. But I there's a lot of hard work that goes into this program. There's a lot of physical work that is done. So we want to recognize that. We want to show that in a group of exceptional teens, there are teens who are going above and beyond what is expected or required of them. We provide a number of quantifiable awards. The first is our honors program. This recognizes those individuals who are at the top of our program. These individuals have completed 96% of all assignments, meeting requirements, journal entries, tasks, all of the things they are asked to do to complete this work in such a short amount of time is quantified, is tracked. It provides them the opportunity to be accountable to not only themselves, but their cohort mates. And of the 9 individuals who participated in this program, 4 of those individuals have earned honors. That's 96% of the assigned work done, not just done, but done on time. 96% of all the meetings, not just attended, but attended on time and in full. These 4 individuals, Bhavya, Emma, Hana, and Sahana, not only made an impact with their work product, but made an impact with their passion and dedication to this program. We'd like to recognize them for that. 2 of those individuals have completed a task which is nearly impossible. And they completed 100% of all required activities. Now, to get 96%, it's impossible to get 96% if you are late for more than 2 meetings, if you miss more than 2 assignments. So it's hard enough to graduate the program with honors, but to graduate the program with 100% participation has only been done twice before. And Bobby and Emma have earned that award. It's a very, very fun fact. The Aurora household had 2 members participate in our Change Agent Academy this summer. Obviously, Bhavya in the health equity cohort, and his brother Krish in the economic impediment cohort, which presented earlier today. Both of those individuals graduated our program with honors, but only one of the brothers graduated the program with 100% completion of their assignments. I'm not going to say which is better. I'm just going to say the numbers don't lie. Bhavya, a little hometown bragging rights for you. Congratulations. And same goes to Emma and Hana and Sahana. But congratulations to all of our cohort members. What you've done here is really special. And you should be really proud. The hardest part of this cohort is awarding the Most Outstanding Research Associate Award. It's a $500 scholarship we give to the individual who exemplifies what it means to be a change agent. They exhibit the values of the Teen Think Tank Project. This is an impossible task. It's so hard that I don't even do it. I give it to a team member who is solely responsible for the student relations and the outcomes of our program participants and alumni. The application is open to all students who qualify. You need to, earn certain metrics and milestones. But if you reach all of those milestones, you have the ability to apply. You apply with a application submission. We don't ever say that it needs to be an essay or a particular type of input. It just needs to be a submission. Those submissions are then evaluated, given to our cohort committee, cohort scholarship committee, and those individuals are asked to participate in an interview. One of the criteria we look for is, what do the other cohort members say about the applicants? It's a journal question we ask, and we use that to help differentiate between our applicants. And a very common theme throughout our program, throughout that feedback session, was that Hana is as passionate about this program as any person they had ever seen. She is engaging, and she is a leader in these discussions. And the work that we've done as a cohort probably couldn't be possible without her. Another common theme is that Sahana is worthy of the Most Outstanding Research Award, that she is dedicated to this program, and that she always prioritizes the work that she does here to make sure that it elevates not only herself, but those around her through the discussions and conversations that we have. So it's no surprise that the finalists for the Most Outstanding Research Associate are Hana Ira and Sahana Rajesh Kumar. But there can only be one award given. I wish there could be more. And if there were, we would certainly provide that scholarship to as many students as we could afford to fund. But with that said, the scholarship committee has awarded the Most Outstanding Research Scholarship Award to Sahana. Sahana, congratulations. Congratulations to Hana for being a finalist. But Sahana, if you would like to say a few words, we would certainly love to hear from you.
I truly, truly appreciate the honor. But I really couldn't have done this without everyone's help. There was so much that I learned from each and every one of you guys, especially in the breakout rooms when I had those silly conversations about nothing but everything that was so important relating to mental health. And I'm very, very happy to say that I've done this, and yeah, I've met all of you guys and hope to learn more from the future.
Yeah, and one thing I can be certain of is that we will be learning from you, Sahana. We'll be learning from Hana. We'll be learning from Bhavya and Aisha and Lazia and Ava and Emma and Gabe. And this cohort is tremendously talented. It is special, and it is among the most passionate cohorts that we have ever assembled here at the Teen Think Tank Project. So I appreciate you all. Appreciate the hard work that you've done. About 30 seconds of bookkeeping issues before we say our goodbyes. For those who are looking to see what is next or learn more about what these passionate change agents are doing. Next week, we will be posting their and publishing their complete policy framework, which goes into an in-depth examination of the topics that we presented here today. That was just the tip of the iceberg on what this cohort has produced. Next week, we invite you to visit teenthinktankproject.com, head over to our resources page, and then you can find our research cohort portfolios here that outlines the work that each of our previous cohorts have done. It's really tremendous work, and we encourage you to support these change agents by consuming their work. You can also find updates on Instagram at teen_think tank. We're on Facebook as well. The work that we do as a cohort makes its way out into the social media universe, and honestly has an impact on those who are consuming it. We hear from teens and families and educators and activists and advocates all the time saying, "Hey, this is special stuff. We appreciate that you're doing it. How can we get in touch with these teens? We have some work for them. We've got some opportunity for them. We want to do some research with them." And that is just the beginning of our work together, our relationship with this cohort. We build a community here, and we take that community seriously. And they will be leaving the program. They're graduating from our summer research cohort, but they are just now going to assume the role of change agent emeritus and become a full-blown member of our research associate community. So I give you all a tremendous applause. Great job. We thank you. We appreciate you all for coming out. You have a great night. Have a great weekend. And as always, keep being awesome.